What's up, guys? I am Jack and I like video games, and today I have a very special treat. My friends over at Ubisoft hooked me up with a very early look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and what you're going to be treated to the next 20-ish minutes or so is me playing the game. So this is actually me. I got to play it via a remote connection thing, setup thing, but it's pretty awesome. So this is beautiful footage of a beautiful game. So here we are, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, kind of take a look around, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed games, so I figured I'd check out as much as I can, see what makes this one a little bit different than the rest, and yeah, and first of all, we're playing as Eivor, who's on the back of this beautiful steed here, and this is literally, oh, I just killed a bird. This is literally, they dropped me into the game like, alright, good luck, and then there wasn't a lot of explanation for it, which I kind of dug, because it's kind of like, alright, good luck, you're going to be playing the game now, and so, very similar. If you've been playing Odyssey or Origins, a lot of similar stuff with sort of different choice trees and whatnot. That's back. A lot of, like, you know, sort of moral decisions and whatnot, and we'll encounter a few of those. The one thing I really like about I love the character models. I love how serious it is. Here you go. Here's, I think, one of my first choices I got. It's a whole thing. I'm playing again a slice of the game. I think this is the east side of the map. The map is really big. I think I'll take a look at it here in a little bit. But here we are as a raven now flying around. Yeah, so the first time you're not flying around as an eagle, or I guess that popped in Origins, but we're flying around as a raven, which makes sense for, you know, Valhalla and Vikings and whatnot. And real quick, this is one of the first things I did, so I decided to do some sneak assassinating. And yeah, and, you know, I was like, all right, let's see if we can do this, and flying around looking for my enemies with this raven. And this is where I noticed a few differences between this and Odyssey and Origins. Is in Odyssey and Origins, if you spot a bad guy, it would just kind of mark them. At least when I played through it, it did not. That right there is a mark that I placed, which is interesting. Also, you can place multiple marks now on the map, which is super convenient. But this came back. So the Assassin Vision, I think it's called Odin's Sight in this game. It is back, and you're going to be relying on that quite a bit. Another big change for you Assassin's Creed fans, Assassinate is now on the bumper. So for me, it was right bumper instead of X, which has pretty much always been X or square if you're playing on a PlayStation for the longest time. And that was a little, you know, something you've been using X for a long time to assassinate people, and no, it changed. Also, Whistle is still around. I whistle to get that guy to come over. And yeah, so it's always good to do some straight up, you know, assassinating. And there's a lot of stuff like this where there's a lot of, they're really focusing on these sort of open world aspects of it, where there's kind of a story going on constantly, and you can find notes and things that might aid you on your journey. We'll do one of those later. They've added, you know, like they've had in Origins and Odyssey, they've had the sort of go-to route while on horseback. They've now added cinematic camera, because if you're going to be on horseback, you have to have cinematic camera, right? So there we are. The camera changes around, adds a little depth of field, looks pretty. And of course, it wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without climbing buildings and getting sync points. And I don't know about you, every time I play an Assassin's Creed game, one of the first things I do is go and unlock all of the synchronization points, just because it makes it a lot easier to travel around the map, because these are now fast travel points since Origins. And I think maybe it's been a while. Maybe it's Black Flag was the first one of them. Anyway, so here we go. And this is me up on top. I will say, though, since we don't have an eagle, we have a raven instead. You don't get that classic, that eagle noise when the camera spins around, which is little odd, I'll be honest. It's like, oh, well, you know, ever since I've been playing as like Ezio and Altair, it's been like, oh yeah, you get the eagle noise, and then, you know, you get your leap of faith as well, because, you know, you have to do the leap of faith. And yeah, not having that eagle cry, again, maybe it comes into play later, but as of right now, no eagles for Eivor, at least in this portion of the game. I'm not sure exactly how far in we are, but we're not crazy far in, but we're not right at the beginning. I found a cat that had a talk bubble above it, which kind of kicks off quests. So here we go. I mean, anytime I see a cat with a quest bubble, there's another cat too, and then this kid's like, what? That's my kid. That's my cat. And so, yeah, I completely ignored the actual quests, and I found a cat. And I'm like, I'm going to play with a cat. So this kid is a random world event. He's like, hey, that cat ran off. I need it. Help me find the cat. And I never figured out who Old Cotter was. I don't know if that's another cat or a person or what, but and yeah, of course, you can still spin around the camera while in conversations, which I think they lost that for a while, and they brought it back recently, so that's just for fun. So here we go. I'm going to follow this kid. There's another kitty cat right there. Hello, kitty cat. And so the kid's like, help me find my cat. I'm like, all right, fine, let's go find your cat. And so follow the kid. And then he actually startles the cat back to me here, which is super convenient. And then, boop, and then talk to it, and boom, got you, you little mouse spider, which is a great nickname. And so talk to the kid here, and the kid's going to be like, oh, wow, you found the cat. That's awesome. But the best part about this whole thing, again, this is the very first mission I did in all of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Nolly is the name of the cat. And Nolly joins the longship. That's right. The cat vanishes there because it went to my boat. We now have a cat on the boat. How awesome is that? Raider cat. World event completed. And you can see at the bottom right there, mysteries for East Anglia. This is a new thing it looks like they're doing in this one, where it's kind of opens it up. Oh yeah, hang on real quick. Very, very important here. There's a dog, and it gives me the option to pet. And so yeah, of course we got to pet the dog. He's waiting for it. Dog's waiting for pets, and then wait for oh, you're a good puppy. Who's a good puppy? Who's a good puppy boy? Yes, you are. Who's a good dog? You are a dog. Yes, you are. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So they have these things. It's like mysteries, fortune, and some other stuff. In the different areas, and I think that's going to affect the sway you have over people. This was interesting. So I found this throne here with a bunch of arrows in it and a bunch of blood all over it. And this nun here is like, don't touch anything. And then at first I was going to add some extra arrows to it, and then I'm like, you know what? No, we won't do that. But I will come over here, and I'm just going to take all the arrows, and I start ripping out the arrows here from her chair that she's very, very serious about. I pulled them all out. And so that triggered her to be like, hey, wait a minute. And here comes the conversation. So here's another one of the moral choice type situations where, you get the opportunity to either be like, hey, F you, or it's like, hey, I'll help you out. And so, yeah, she's like, well, I never touched them. And you don't give a crap. So you're like, all right, absolutely, I'll touch these and rip them out. And so you can give them to her. You can offer to sell them to her or not. You can keep them. Who knows what happens? I ended up selling her the arrows, but who knows what happens if you don't? Maybe bad things happen. This is new, so you have a new wheel here. If you're holding down on the D-pad, does a bunch of different things. You can meditate, which is the classic go from day to night. Call the longship, which are longships here. I didn't focus on it because I'm a dum-dum, but if you look on the right side, underneath the little seat, that little white thing there, that's Nolly, I think is the name of the cat. So it's actually under the ship's boat there. When I took command, there it is, kitty cat, meow. And so anyway, this is kind of cool. So you can call your horse, you can call your longship, and this thing hauls if you're moving around on water, which is a lot of lakes and a lot of rivers and stuff on this map here. I think I do. I'll show the map here in a minute. But anyway, one of the first things we do is we're going to this area, and we have to clear out Rued's Min, who's the bad guy in this area here. He's pissed off one of the new kings or something. He's kidnapped one of the new kings of the area, and so we got to go fight him. And this is going to kick off something new. So we have raids now. So a raid is basically you have these dudes with you. You've had like pirate ships and stuff before. So these guys, you roll up onto a land, and they fight with you. Obviously, this is a little different from your sort of traditional sneak around and kill everyone kind of situation. But you can go and just buck wild and go nuts. And here's some of our first attacking. So, interesting thing about the attacks, your left bumper is going to be block, right bumper is kind of a light attack, right trigger is a heavy attack. But anything you hold will do different stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Gross. Also, very violent, very bloody in this game. You can hold two of anything. So you can have two shields, you can have two swords, or you can have two like tomahawks. You can have a bunch of different things, and I went with I think I've got a shield and an axe right now, and but if you want to hold two axes, you can. They have double-handed weapons as well, like long spears and swords, like broadswords and stuff. But how you want to play is kind of dependent on your. I mean, you can play however you want. If you want to have two quick weapons, you can. Don't stand in fire, kids. Standing in fire is a bad thing. But yeah, it's really neat because you can do, a whole bunch of different things. You can, however you like playing. I like being more fast, so I eventually swapped over to two axes. At one point, I did find like this flail that I play around with quite a bit too, because it's a little bit more powerful, but it's slower. Yeah, and so here we go. We've got our abilities back as well, of course. So if you hold left trigger and then hit AX, B, or Y, or right trigger, do different ones. I played around with that a little bit. I honestly I forgot about it, but one of the there's like a double axe throw that's freaking awesome. The run and bash is cool, and then you've got your skill tree too. similar. It looks a little prettier than the last kind of skill trees they've had. If you zoom in, it actually has different skills you can get to, and then have kind of your larger ones you want to unlock. Same deal where you've got your hunter, you've got your assassin, you've got your attacker. I think it's Raven, Bear, and like Wolf, I think, are the 3 different ones. And of course you've got your your layout as well, your different weapon kind of layout. There's a lot more stuff with upgrading in this one. I didn't pick up a lot of armor, a lot of weapons as I was playing. Again, that might have been for this build. I don't know how significant the sort of upgrade system is going to be, but it was definitely like heavily hinted at. But like Raven Clan helmet here, I don't know if it's going to be like Odyssey, or like different weapons have different things. I'm not seeing that here, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Yeah, so there you go. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of cool things you can do here. Very, very similar to the last few games, but here you go. So you have main hand and offhand. So Spinning Death sounded like a fun one, so I ended up using that for quite a bit. A little bit more powerful, but it's a lot slower. And here we go. I just want to show how pretty it is. We got some water on the lens there. And one thing, like I like this game because there's trees and grass, and it feels like Odyssey and in Origins were all dirt and rocks, and it was kind of just gray and browns. And now we've got some greenery. There's my horse. We've got some greenery here, and it was fun again. I'm sure we're going to see that kind of stuff, but I'm curious if we might have some snowy areas, kind of like in 3, or I don't know, because it's England. England, there's a lot of different sort of lushness and whatnot. Look at that. Look how pretty that is up there. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. And again, more focusing on like world events and stuff. I found this nun who slaughtered all of these men, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, he told me much about you, and then I'm gonna kill you now." So I ended up fighting a nun, which is just wild. And she's a hell of a fighter too. I will say, she killed a bunch of guys on the ground there, and yeah. And so I had to go whale her. There's one of my abilities. Just slammed her into a wall and beat her down a little bit. She doesn't mess around. And I forget, I think I had an opportunity to save her, and I didn't do it. But anyway, here we go. So there was a note on one of the people that said, like, oh, I left something upstairs in this area, and then this building here has a key. I need a key to unlock that. So I'm going back up here, and I spent way too long figuring this out, by the way. I cut this down to make it look like I'm smart. But anyway, check it out. Throw on some Odin Vision. Boom, look at that. There's a little pulley on that ladder right there. And hit that. Boop. And it drops down, and now we can get up top. So a lot of little mysteries, a lot of little puzzles like that kind of scattered throughout Valhalla. There's our key right there that we need for that other thing. And we can go find treasure when there's more stuff here, more notes, more world events, and all of that. It's neat. It's a living, breathing world, and I dig it a lot. Yeah, and I really like bringing back the assassin vision. It's more of a flash this time. And so here we go. There's that key. Got to unlock the door. Inside, we got treasures. You got all kinds of good stuff. So you get like ability points. And I think in here we actually find a map. Well, we found a manuscript, which I think is like a treasure map. Yeah. And so the treasure maps you unlock here. And then it'll show you like, hey, there's something hidden there. Good luck finding it. So, of course, you pop open your map and then go looking for it. And so here he goes. So that's the small little section I got to play in during recording. I think it was in there. And actually, I don't think I ended up going over there. I think I got distracted, never actually went and checked it. Anyway, so there we go. So a lot of hidden stuff in the game. Really good about that. Yeah, here's some dudes on fire. So this is just some fighting. I wanted to show, so Assassin's Creed usually it hasn't been as brutal as this one. This one feels a lot more violent than the previous ones. Here I am fighting a fire dude who beat the hell out of me. Oh yeah, there we go. That's something that came back. Health is back. So eating stuff to get your health back is a thing. So hitting right on the D-pad brings up, like, you regain health. And you actually see it in the left side there. I've got 2 of whatever it is. The guy catches fire as I watch him die. That's brutal. But you pick up plants and fruits and mushrooms and stuff, and that'll keep you alive. And here we go. That's a little gross. Lop the dude's head off. That's a little bit different than some Assassin's Creed games. But anyway, here we are. Once we do some missions, we kind of recruited some people to help us out. And the guy's like, hey, your people need to hear your words, right? They need your words, Ivor. And so this is another thing where you get 3 different options. And what are you going to say? You're going to talk about Oswald's sacrifice or freedom or what? And yeah. And so really what you say, I imagine, affects the people you play with, the AI you play with. So I don't know if they get better if you pick good things or not, but it seems like that is what they are alluding to. So yeah, I was pretty psyched to see that. It's kind of fun to be like, oh, okay, things are a little bit, you know, you have consequences for what you say, and we've been seeing that the last few games, and it's nice to see it still happening. You'll see one of those direct consequences later. So here we go. Here's the sweet looking. You've seen this raid, I'm sure, on a number of other gameplays. But yeah, so we have a raid here on a castle. We're storming a castle. We blew up a wall, and then we have to go and we have to knock down some stuff. So here we go. Don't forget your mushrooms. Go back and get those. Yep, grab those. Thank you very much. Keep healing. And this is sort of a progression type thing where you have to, you know, clear out spaces, move forward, clear out more spaces, move forward. You can actually revive your teammates that get downed, which is kind of cool. So if they get hurt but not killed, you can bring them back and they'll keep fighting with you. The more you have, the easier it gets, etc., etc. I almost died right there, but I healed up because I'm a smarty. And yeah, again, this is the slow thing. And then you've got your stomp. So there's a stun system now in Valhalla, where if you stun people, you can then do like an attack afterwards. So you knock someone on the ground, you get a stun attack like this, which typically will kill them if they're weak enough, if they're small enough. But that's nice. I played around with that a lot. And so, you know, as we're trying to get forward, we're trying to clear this base, and we actually have a ram that we have to knock down the walls. And so I join in, and so you charge, help them push it down. But they're still firing arrows at you, so you gotta watch out for those. And that's also why I was shooting the archers up there, because you can clear out the bad guys who are gonna hurt you while you're trying to clear out the castle and stuff. So there we go, and we're through. Pretty rad. I like it. I like it a lot. And watch out for those spikes too. I accidentally dashed into the spikes and killed myself. So here we go. Here's Rued, who's one of the first bad guys. Of course, he has a wolf. He has a hunting wolf with him, which is I got a stun attack there, and boom, suplex the wolf. Yeah, so you're gonna have sort of bad guys. There's one of the ability attacks right there, where I threw my axes. I'm still just focusing on this wolf, this ad here. And once I get that down, it makes it a little bit easier to. Ooh, that hurts. That heal is pretty nice though. And so again, I only got to play for a few hours, so my skills were a little bit lacking, unfortunately. And arrow to the wolf. There we go. Now we can focus on Rued. And of course, we end up killing this guy. And then it gives you the option. Here you go. Here's Oswald. This guy that Rued had kidnapped, and he's like, hey, don't kill the dude. And then Rued's like, oh yeah, that's a hilarious thing right there. And then you have the option. Do you want to kill him now? Or do you want to set him free? Rued will live, he'll die. And I listened to my new king, and I let him live. Because, hey, he's the new king. I'll give you the credits of living and dying. And so here we go. So eventually we're going to a wedding. This is a whole wedding. And look at this. We got a drinking game, you guys. So it's like the king's festivities. So I went and had a drinking game. Of course, you're drinking out of a ram's horn, it looks like. And also you have to balance while drinking in order to stay up there. So that's good. Then you can see after I get really hammered, everything's a little bit blurry, which is pretty funny. But hey, it's a wedding. It's a party. Good times. This guy's going to help us all, right? Yay. Look at that dude. He looks good. I could cosplay as that. But then, of course, bad things happen. Rued gets out. He got freed from his captors. And, you know, we didn't kill him, so he's back. And so now we have to fight him again. So here we go. It's a really interesting looking dude here. And so that poor king already probably made a mistake. Probably should have killed him first. And once you do, there you go. We did it. Consequences, you guys. Consequences. Pretty serious. Pretty serious. On his wedding day, too. So sad. So sad. Anyway, real quick, there are still like these crazy weird world events and bosses and stuff. This is a random boss I stumbled upon. Reagan, and look at that crazy fire. A lot of weird mythic stuff. We're going to see a lot of that with Norse mythology, which is pretty neat. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of things that you might recognize in this game, but this one was terrifying. Very, very freaky. Figured I would show it off. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Ow. Reagan. No need for that. But some really cool stuff. And of course, let's finish it off with some classic assassin style stuff, hiding around corners and stabbing people. You can throw your sort of hood up. Oops, and there's an assassin. And then I got a skill point where I can do the long range assassinate as well. There we go. So yeah, it's pretty great. And so this is another one that you can call your teammates up as well to come and help you tear stuff down. And you know, I went through and wrecked everything before I even called them, which is pretty rad. But anyway, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming in November. I am very, very excited. Thank you again to Ubisoft for hooking me up with an early look at the game. Yeah, it's awesome. It's Assassin's Creed, and I love me some Assassin's Creed. So any more I can get, I'm all in. So check it out when it comes out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.